left it.
Oh,
So I have to
yeah.
enter StreamYard. Good morning and welcome, all you beautiful people out there. Hi, I'm Bob Pace, and I'm your host for this podcast, Fight CPS with Bob Pace. That's the Children Protection System. And I have a wonderful host with me, Danielle from Georgia. I'm from
Hmm.
California. And we're going to try our best to answer your questions and your concerns about your CPS case.
Right.
I know that you all out there have a really hard case. We both have had cases ourselves. They're just as bad. Just as
Mhm.
bad. Now, this is a live podcast, and what that means is that um, you can interact with us by either one of three ways: either texting a comment to us using the comment part. We're on YouTube, and you should find the comments there. And you just would text in. Let me get the instructions up in here. I keep losing it. Yeah, it's down here at the bottom. Um, well, it was there. There we are. When typing in comments, uh, uh, your CPS question. This is a podcast that deals with child protection system. Please show your name, city, state, or country, and be complete with your CPS case so we can answer your question. Now, the reason why I say country is that on Facebook, you find us, and people from other countries are looking for answers too. And we've had people from other countries. So far, it's been Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, the country of Ghana, which is in South America. It's a country along the coast there. And the person that called in had a CPS question. And then we've also had Mexico and
Months.
Mozambique, which is on the southern part of South Africa, on the east
Hmm.
side near South America below Somalia, but it's
Hmm.
opposite the island of Madagascar. But they've also called too. And last but not least, we had a European country, Denmark,
Hmm.
that called in with a question. So I'm open. We're open to anybody with a CPS question. All you do is show your name, city, and state and country, and be complete with your CPS question. Another
Hmm.
way is that you can actually call in and talk on my office phone. That's very useful. I had someone call me last night
Yeah.
on my podcast, and I enjoyed talking to you, and Danielle does too.
Hmm.
What you do is you call into 626-698-0990, and you can talk live. And
I'm gonna get wrapped up in this headphone cord here in a minute.
yeah,
Sorry, trying to get my wires all fixed. Oh boy.
yeah,
So, we can learn from each other. Like, we can all learn from one another, our stories, and you know,
yeah,
hear the latest. Maybe we know new stuff, that somebody else may not know. Maybe there's new things going on. You know, uh,
yeah.
just I sent
So
some stickers.
yeah, um, CPS. I hate to say it can be very cruel and not nice to you. It really is. It's a bad agency,
Mm-hmm.
and I really feel for you. We're not attorneys, but we have a lot of experience. But I want you to set the tone. Danielle's remind me of who CPS is. It's a government agency, a branch of social service that's supposed to take that pose to protect our children from neglect or abuse and bring the family together or keep the family together through family reunification. Now, what's happened lately is the social workers in Prescott, Arizona, had decided to show how they really think of you as parents. They got some T-shirts made in 2022, and on the front of the T-shirts, it says professional child kidnappers. Now, that being said, that leaves your stomach really sickening because here are 8 social workers in 2022 in Arizona showing how they feel about parents. Because on the back of their shirts, they say, hey, parents, you know where your kids are at? Sure, they're with us. We're professional child kidnappers. That's where they're at. And that was a very rude awakening. I imagine a lot of this goes on with all the different states. They paraded around stores. It was seen in public. And right away they were fired because the public called in. It was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then the director, that's their boss, was also fired.
They may have said it was a joke or a prank they played, but that's nothing you play games about. That's something. This is our kid. You don't. These are children. You don't joke about things like that. That's very.
So that is
wrong.
the image. That is the image I want you all to see. These professional child kidnappers had 25 years in experience. They know better. And I have talked to over 500 people since October. And I've been fighting CPS since 2010. And from my own experiences and experience of others, I found something they all have in common. Their children are immediately taken whether they're in danger or not in danger. And then they are forced to do stupid things and led around by deception, by lies, by playing with your emotions. We as parents deserve respect. We have constitutional and civil rights, and the social workers don't care. When they receive a complaint, an allegation, right away you are guilty until you're proven innocent. So they believe everything that people call into. And there's 2 types of people that call in. There are lay people, and then there are professional people. Professional people have to do it because it's part of their job to report abused or neglected children. But the lay people have been used a lot lately to retaliate against a neighbor, or retaliate against a family member. In my case, I was charged with neglect, and it took a long time. It took them 5 years to charge me because for 5 years, my in-laws were saying that I was not taking care of my children. I was not feeding them or housing them or putting them to school or taking them to the doctor or, shower them and everything they could think of. And for 5 years, I held it off. But what happened to me, of course.
We have a visitor.
We do?
Kayla. Booze
Oh,
from
thank
Mobile,
you. You
Alabama.
mean a text-in visitor. Kaya Booze, yes, she's here. Kaya, yeah, I've seen her before the other day.
From
yeah,
Mobile,
they're more like
Alabama.
the mafia. They do what they want when they want, and the police help them without demanding paperwork as proof. They're even allowed to do it. Are they allowed to go to school and speak to your children without your permission or knowledge? They're supposed to.
They're not supposed
if they want to talk to your child, you as a parent need to be called in and you are in another room while they talk to your children. They can do that part, but they cannot go to the school and take your child without paperwork or without you parents being present. In my case, I had just picked up my son. So they took my son. I didn't know. I should have asked for, a warrant or picture there. Then they proceeded that same day when they tricked me. A policeman had tricked me. and to come into my home. And they went ahead and took 2 of our children that were in school, that were safe, and they're well taken care of. So it is good to
Uh, so with that being said,
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Danielle?
I don't know what I was saying. You got me on that one. No, they're not supposed to talk. Go ahead, Bob.
I'm sorry, they're not supposed to do what?
Talk to your kids without you knowing. They're not supposed
Yeah.
to, but they
Your
make their own
microphone
rules.
today, you've done something different to your headset or microphone because your words are slurring, and that's why it's hard for me to understand.
Okay, let me go check it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's static coming in. That's what it is. So, yeah, you.
Mhm. Can you hear me? I don't know what happened. Can y'all hear me? Bob? Is your mic is my mic off? I can't hear you. Okay. You can hear
Somehow,
me, Faye?
my mic.
There you
You can hear me now. You can hear me now.
look. You said you're messing with my settings. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Faye.
Yeah.
You got me. Bob got me
Yeah.
again. You got me
Yeah.
again.
Thank you there, Grace. Yes, I'm unmuted. Faye, I want to welcome you from Richmond, Kentucky.
Mhm.
And I don't understand why you don't get notifications anymore. Thanks to Danielle, I knew you was on. Good. Thank you, Danielle.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell.
Grace says it's a glitch beyond her control. That it's something with Facebook and YouTube. Good. You all can hear me, and we got Danielle's voice ungarbled a little bit, so maybe you can understand her.
Is that better? Is it better now? Okay.
Yeah, yes, better. What was it you did change to make it better?
Oh, I just took my headset off. That's all, and my headset out of the I don't have my headset on. Yeah. If it's better, I mean, as long as you don't hear the fan in the background, I'm good. I mean, as long as
Yeah.
Awesome. So it's a lot better than what it was. Okay. Hold on real quick, Bob. I'll be right back. I gotta step away real quick. Just
okay. All right. Okay. So, Daniel had to step out for a moment. Great, Kaya. Thank you for telling me my mic is working. And so, I'd love to hear it, Faye. I'd love to hear it. If you want to call in, you're welcome to call in, Faye. You can call in and talk if you like. A third way of interacting with this podcast is you can contact Grace, my producer, who does a marvelous job, and I want to thank her for all her help. But she can help you join me on my podcast as a guest. All you have to do is email her, grace@vincentwdavis.com. Grace@vincentwdavis.com. And She will put you on one of my 14 podcasts, either morning or evening. I'm on at 10 in the morning and 7 o'clock at night, Monday through Sunday. Now, there's exceptions. Every Sunday I come on at 8 in the morning. So I'm on early on Sunday. And see here, next, I want to say next, I will let you know if there's any changes next week on my time. But I try to be regularly. As I say, I've not missed a show yet since October, so it's been a long time. Now, you want to talk about your agency, Faye? You want to call in at 626-698? Let me see here. 0990. Let me get my phone. Where's my phone at? Oh, there it is. Yeah. The phone is on. And I got okay, Vonage, yeah. Good afternoon, Faye. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
I'm back.
Danielle Faye has joined us. So she's got some to ask about CHFS.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to share something with you all about it.
Okay.
So I'm just a minute. Just a second. Try to pull it up. Hold on.
Understood. I see you changed.
So you remember about me sharing with you how the cabinet was audited and they found that $389,000 of money was unaccounted for and couldn't be appropriated.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've been sharing that with our listeners. I've been sharing that.
Yeah. Well, so now another cabinet employee has just committed, I guess you could say, embezzling money from the cabinet here in Kentucky. Is
wow.
a portion of it here. It says she was fired, by the way. So it says a former cabinet for Health and Family Services employee in Kentucky has been indicted after allegedly stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars using clients' names, meaning the cases of people that she's had using their names to make wire transfers.
Wow.
According to an indictment, 35-year-old Brittany May worked at the Cabinet for Health and Family Services, where she used the identities of at least 40 clients to write checks to herself.
Wow.
40,000. Wow.
40 clients.
Yeah.
40 clients. She stole their identity. Wow.
Yeah. And it says here, from November 2019 to May 2023, May allegedly schemed to defraud and obtain money from the Cabinet for Health and Family Services by using the Cabinet's resource directory to change clients' information to a Capital One bank account or one of 3 Sutton bank accounts she had access to.
Right.
And
was she just a worker, or was she? She was someone.
She was a social worker. She was a social worker.
She was a social worker.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And she used the clients, like the cases that she had. She used the names of the cases, like the family members that she was dealing with, to use their names and information to write the checks out.
So probably the funding that was supposed to go to them families to help them get up on their feet and everything, she took the money. probably. Or wow. There ain't no telling how she took it. That's good.
It says over 500 wire transfers were made to the 4 bank accounts, costing the cabinet over $444,000, according to court documents.
Wow.
May was charged with 5 counts of wire fraud and 3 charges of aggravated identity theft.
Jeez.
Wow.
So,
and when did all this happen?
It said from November 2019 through May of 2023.
wow. That is.
So you think that has anything doing with the $389,000 that they couldn't find the money for?
Oh, possibly. I wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it. But it just goes to show you that the cabinet can't manage their finances, they can't manage their employees, and they can't manage the kids in their care. So what good are they?
I agree.
Right. I did.
Go ahead, Danielle.
Oh, no, you go ahead, Bob. You go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, how is Richmond handling this? Is there investigations going on, or are they just passing the buck, or what?
I mean, I'm assuming there possibly is, but here's the thing: anytime an investigation goes on where the cabinet's concerned, like the Office of the Inspector General in 2007 and 2008 did a huge investigation on the cabinet. Found all kinds of infractions, all kinds of policy issues, ethical issues, things that parents claimed was going on. He was able to, confirm that they were true, but yet nothing was ever done. Anytime there's an investigation, it's just that. It's just to, I guess, make things look like they're trying to do something about it.
Right.
That doesn't ever get done. Nobody hardly ever gets fired.
Right.
I mean, of course, she got fired, but, look at all the money involved. It takes an act of them losing lots of money in order for them to actually fire somebody.
Right. And that's a big chunk of change right there. Like, that's definitely noticeable, but it's like, how much did she, look what she already got away with, you know what I'm saying? And they're never going to get that money back. I mean, they can try, but she'll just do time. And it's that's where, these people are living off
$44,000 and then $389,000. That's over what, $800 and some $1,000.
About $850,000. Yeah. Yep. And she got to live it up, and nobody ever caught on to it. That's a lot of money. I'm sorry. That's a lot. That's a big chunk of change. I mean, somebody surely should have noticed something after at least 20,000 missing. You know what I mean?
Well, listen. This is my theory on it. She's the only one that got caught, but I can almost guarantee you that she had other people helping.
Of course, definitely.
Guarantee it, and I'm thinking that once this goes to trial, other names are going to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she's not going to want to take the brunt of all of it, I bet.
No,
definitely not. Definitely not. And that's money that could have been used towards the Families First program, for prevention and help, and instead of them putting kids into foster care. You know what I'm saying? They could have did the Families First. And it's crazy because I found out yesterday that the Senate has had a hearing about the kids. There was a hearing held for the funding of foster children and adoption incentives. Did you know that over a decade ago they started doing for the kinship care? Bless you, bro. Sorry, my brother. And then they've been asking him, it was something that I forgot the guy's name, the chairman, But he said, I mean, I'll have to send y'all the link to go see the video and the hearing. I mean, and this guy, he means business, and I'm glad that attention is that, like, we've caught their attention, because they're talking about children wrongfully removed and this Family First program that's supposed to help, and they're supposed to do 3 things: prevent and strengthen, and then get the families to where they need to be. And that's what should be going on this whole time, instead of them removing the kids and then wrongful removal and then throwing them into foster care. They're supposed to prevent foster care. He even said foster care should be the last. Huh?
But then even when they do take them, they're not supposed to do everything they can to prevent them from going back home, and that's exactly what they do.
Exactly. And they're even so I can send this to whoever wants me to send it, because they're saying they want to know. Huh?
She said send it to you.
Because I'll go ahead and read it to y'all. Because it's called Project Guardian, and it's a big thing, and like we've been drawing attention to it, and like the wrongful removal and the kids like on psychotropic drug or medications. So a hearing was held yesterday on the funding of foster children and adoption incentives. Send this to everyone you know who has had children removed by CPS or wrongfully drugged with psychotropic medicine while in foster care. This goes for you too, Bob. You can do this as well. Your family can submit your family can submit a viewer statement that must be emailed by 9 days. So you have like 8 days left to get it, and I'll send all that information where to get your story to explain where the funding is going and how it
already closed though.
Well, the statute of limitations.
No, they still want to hear it. They don't care.
Oh, okay, good.
Explain 9 days to explain where the funding is going and how it destroyed your family, not helped. Please, and then it'll tell you about the instructions, and I can send y'all all that. And it says if you want to watch the hearing, click this link, so I can forward this email to y'all. And trust me, y'all will want to watch that video. It is even the first 25-30 minutes. I mean, I had goosebumps and I was in tears, because it was the best. This is what we needed, and this was I think this. Huh?
Is it county reviewed?
No, this is the U.S. Senate. Like, this is for a Family First. It's like based on like the kids that you know how when they remove your kids, how they're supposed to find other family that you know they're supposed to. Well, this is kind of like that. It's kind of like the kinship care, and it's instead of punishing the parents, you'll have to listen to it to better get a better understanding. Because me, if I explain stuff, it's like I'm everywhere, but you'll have once you listen.
I'm wondering if this was the Connie Riguli's.
No,
I know it's an attorney out of Tennessee, and I was wondering if this was something that
Rebecca Gaston. Have you heard of Rebecca Gaston? Have you heard of Rebecca Gaston or it's Rebecca Gaston and Kelly Patton and Lori. It's something I've been a part of. It's let me read. Let's see. Kelly Patton. There's a couple of them. Rebecca Gaston is one of the big ones. But it's for wrongful removals and psychotropic medication. Like if your kid is in a facility or your kid has been over medicated, which is the big thing as well. But you'll have to listen to the video to get it more clear, and I could send you all the emails to get your story out there.
Okay.
Yeah, because what you'll need to do is
that's fine. You can send them.
Yeah, so if I mean this
last time when he was in care, they had him on 9 medications.
Wow.
And I went and saw my son's ISP, and wow.
And my adult dosages. They weren't even dosages for a child his age. They were adult dosages. One of the ones they had him on was Seroquel.
Yes, and that's
they had him on Ritalin. They had him on Ritalin XR. They had him on clonidine. They had him on.
What?
There's so many. Prozac. They had him on that.
Along with the Ritalin?
I'd have to look because I can't remember all of them.
Why did they have him on Prozac and Ritalin? That's kind of
They had him on so many medicines, it was ridiculous. He had so much of that in him that, like, he was having, like, bad side effects from it. And one of the things that was happening with him because of being on all those medicines was it was affecting his kidneys and his liver, and he was urinating blood. And, I mean, I'm not talking about urine with blood. I mean straight blood. And had to go to the emergency room, and, you know, they, on 3 different occasions for that. And it was just horrible.
Oh, wow. Like, my son, I was pulling up his ISP from, and they had him on, so I'm like, he didn't need, they had him on like Vyvanse, Risperdal, Benadryl, Tylenol.
Yeah, that was another one. Risperdal. They had him on that too. I was why does he need to be on all these medications?
Right.
Some of these medications all treat the same thing. So why is he on triple doses of medicines that treat the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And they had him on. It
makes no sense.
Well, first of all, here's the problem. All the social workers that I've been talked to think they're clinical psychiatrists and they can do a prescription. A doctor is the only one that can prescribe drugs. And that's sad that the social workers now think they can tell you if you have a mental problem as a parent or as a child. And they're making wrongful accusations based on it. They're nothing more than that they're lucky to have a high school education. They don't have college degrees. They need a degree in like a major in clinical psychology and a minor in social work. That would be a well-rounded, educated social worker. And then they need to go through and they need to get a license or a certificate that's renewable every so many years, like say every 5 years with the new changes and things take place. Then on top of that, when they come aboard to the CPS that they're working for, they need to mentor somebody for 5 years to see how cases. They need to take all the parenting classes, all the programs, so they know what they're about. You know, it's funny how they can say, well, you need parenting class number 1, 2, 3, 5, whatever, and they've never taken them. They don't know what they're about.
No.
And that is wrong. That is wrong.
It's very.
What else do they see? What?
See, another thing they did too while my son was in care was they had their therapist diagnose him with this disorder called reactive attachment disorder. And I knew, I researched this. I spent probably 3 days at the library researching reactive attachment disorder because the way they were trying to portray that is that my son had too many caregivers as a child, which he never did because we didn't send him anywhere, you know, daycare or nothing. But that's what they were trying to make it look like. They were trying to make it look like when he cried, he was never picked up. When he needed change, we ignored him. This, that, and the other. That's why they wanted him labeled with reactive attachment disorder, to make it look like that because of all of the supposed neglect from a baby on is why he had so many issues as an adolescent. So when he got to the institution they put him in Louisville, Kentucky, called the Home of the Innocent, and he actually got away from their nut job therapist that was only diagnosing him with stuff to please the cabinet. The psychiatrist, I went to her and I showed her all the paperwork on reactive attachment disorder and showed her why there would be no way he could have that. And she agreed with me. She said, you're right. She said he shouldn't be diagnosed with this. And she said, I will have that removed. And they were only doing that to make it look like he had been a severely neglected child since birth.
Wow.
That's sad.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
very sad.
that's what they do. They get their nut job psychiatrists to
Mm-hmm.
give phony diagnoses on kids, for one, because it gets them extra money for the children. You know, the more medicine they're on, the more funding they get for them, and things like that. And then for two, it helps them build their case against you.
Right. Right. That's all. I mean, they're just trying to find they try to find information. Like, they try to milk people for information, like just so they can build it, like you said, build a case. And it's ridiculous. I mean, it's like you're already on probation, you know, and you're not even a convict or nothing. I mean, people that have never been in the system or never been in trouble. I mean, it's like once CP allegations or an investigation opens up, it's like they automatically boom make you that way, you know. And I didn't mean to do that. Trying to say get this I'm trying to get the link for y'all to this video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I can.
So what else you got for us, Faye? What else you got? Any other things?
No, that was it for today, as far as like you know, the cabinet. But
now, when you say the word cabinet, what are you describing when you say the word cabinet?
What'd you say?
When you describe the word cabinet, what are you describing?
Well, that's what they call themselves here in Kentucky, the Cabinet for Health and Family Services.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called CHFS.
So that's what their CPS is. Okay.
Yeah, Cabinet for Health and Family Services.
Oh, okay. I think of a cabinet like over in the president's got a cabinet, so I'm thinking of that kind of a cabinet.
Yeah, well, basically they're pretty much the same kind of plan.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not on the president level, like it's on the little they think they are, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's see. Here we go. Let's boom. Oops.
You know, it is like so difficult here in Kentucky to try to get anything done in regards to the cabinet, because it's like they can do whatever they want, and they can even commit Social Security fraud, wire fraud. They can kill kids in their care, and we're overworked and underpaid, so it's not a big deal.
It's that whole link that I just sent. It's the whole thing. Like, if y'all copy that whole, it's in two on the chat. It's in two. Yeah, it's a lot. But I sent it on the private chat, Bob. I sent it, and it took one. It's on the Senate part. I mean, on the private chat part, and one whole link. But on the group chat, it's not. But you see it, Faye, on there.
Not yet. I'm not looking at it right now. I'll look at it.
I can send it to you over Messenger.
Yeah. One of the issues with getting things done here, baby, come on now. One of the issues with getting things done here in this state, and the reason it's so difficult, is because the corruption runs so deep in this state. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, like, the cops are corrupt here. The politicians are corrupt here. The local, courts, the local government, I mean, everything here is just corrupt. It's like, there's nowhere to turn. Like when I was dealing with the cops with that situation with my son, with the harassment and stuff that he's been going through, I asked the cop to view the camera And he said he would. And then when I called him back and asked him, did he view the camera? He said he viewed the camera. Now, I was on the phone the whole incident with this officer and my son during this incident with the police. I was actually on the phone when the officer threw the phone at my son and tried to pull her firearm on him and all of that. But he says when he viewed the camera, he saw none of that on it. Yeah, okay. I guess I'm a liar. I wasn't on the phone the whole time.
They're a mess, man.
I don't see how they can even for officers or even social workers to wear cameras if they can just lie and say it's not on there and then go in and cut out parts they don't want people to see.
Well, did you know the one I was talking about the other day about May 2nd about the young black man that was shot first and killed right away?
Yeah.
That right there, you know, they had a camera of the cop. It showed him blatantly just shooting him. His hand was at his side. His gun was pointed down. And it showed him the first knock where he didn't say anything. The next knock, he said something gruff. It wasn't a very cooperative. He should have said, first of all, he was stupid to stand in front of a door. If you're a policeman, you got to learn the rule. You don't stand in front of doors because you don't know what's behind you. Just like when you approach your car, you don't know what the guy's got in his front seat, and he'll blast you away. So you want to approach from the right side of a car, not the left side. And you want to approach the door to the left of the door jamb. And you want to be, trying to dissipate what's ever in there. So if you say, if someone's there, please unlock the door, lay down, put your weapon off to the side, and put your hands behind your head. Then as you squat, you open the door and you look and you see if there's a firearm pointing at you. Seeing this gentleman on the ground with his hands behind his head, you have good control of the incident, and you could, solve it wherever the commotion was about. Because all it was this, I think it was the wrong place that the sheriff was in. His department says, no, he was not the wrong place. But the guy was alone. He was talking on FaceTime with his girlfriend. What kind of disturbance is he doing?
Right.
I mean, it was crazy. It is crazy.
It's crazy. Some of them got a big ego, you know what I mean? Like, some of them have some people, they have very big egos, and they sometimes let that get to them bad in a very negative way, and it's not good. Some people aren't meant to be in, like, the police force and stuff like that. Like, they shouldn't be.
Well, in my opinion, a lot of times people take these positions because they're power and control freaks.
Right. Or and yeah, and I've noticed some of them, like, maybe had peer pressure, in school and stuff, like when they were younger, and when they get older, they want that power, that what they would think that they have over people, you know what I mean? Sorry, y'all.
No, you're right. The problem with policemen, and I know we don't talk to them too much. The problem with policemen is that they got one of the worst jobs to do for low pay. They barely get paid enough to take care of their family. And then they got to put their life on the line because there are a lot of crazy people out there. The people that shoot first and things like that. There's needless times where a cop is ambushed. There's no question about that.
Right.
But they also need to balance their way with people. They got to get good people skills. To defuse a fight or to defuse a gun or a knife attack, you have to think of alternative ways to, drop down the angerment. It's like, hey, time out, you guys. Let's take a time out and discuss what you guys are doing. Things like that. Or introduce themselves as, hey, I'm a law officer. I'm here to investigate. Let's everybody be calm. But see, they come out firing. That sheriff was at that door. His blood pressure was going, and he wanted to kill whoever was behind the door. He didn't know the guy had an Air Force uniform on or was a black or white guy. He just wanted to kill because as soon as the door opened, it was 5 rapid shots. 5 rapid shots. It seems like we're overkilling. If these guys go through a gun class, you learn to maybe shoot somebody in the foot or the arm or disable them. Like he could have shot at the guy's hand that was holding the gun, and yes, he may have an injury, but he'd be alive. But the policeman, think about it. He saw the gun. He probably saw a black man. He doesn't like blacks. And then he fired away. So that to me was really, every day I think about it. Did I lose you, Faye?
No, I'm still here. I'm listening.
Okay. All right. You've been so quiet and so grateful there. But, I do that with my story about opening the door. You never should open the door to anybody. Not only police or CPS, you don't listen to anybody. There's a lot of weirdos in the neighborhood. And that's another thing. I was talking about rape yesterday. That was a subject we really haven't talked too much. I was talking to a lady. She was from Kansas City. And we talked about her being an 8 being molested by her grandfather. And then her father was molesting her girlfriends. And it was something that seemed to be very common there. And it's something that, I'm really sad that in high school they don't have life skill classes. And I think every high school should have 4 years of life skill. And those life skills are the facts of life, how to date, how to properly, meet a girl. I mean, this idea of rape is so barbaric. We had the October 7th incident where the Gaza Arabs were raping all the girls. I mean, there were a tape released the other day, and there were girls in their pajamas who were militaries, and they had their day off. That's why they weren't in uniform. But they're saying, "You're a beautiful girl. I'd love to get you pregnant." Now, this barbaric.
Oh my goodness!
In fact, I looked up 1945, the end of World War II. And I've heard about the comfort women that Japanese use, but I did not realize the amount of babies that are born from Russian, British, French. Who else was the Russians, the British, the French, the Americans, of children. And I'm talking like over $500,000 in Berlin alone. And the Russians had a lot more than the British and the Americans and the French. And there was interviews of children grown up. They're trying to find their American dad or Russian dad or whatever it is. It's a stigma that's been overlooked. And we goes back to the ends of times. Somehow it's always, I guess, proper for people to rape women. I don't think it's the right way. I think if a woman wants to make love to you, she should be in the controlling seat. Just like I don't think we should impose abortion rules on women. As old men of the Supreme Court, we're making decisions which we shouldn't have. We should let that woman make a decision with her boyfriend or where the guy happened, or if it was rape or was something like that, with somebody that's trained, someone that is trained that can talk to her and help her through the emotion. The parents sometimes aren't a good source because they are always out to hurt and revenge. And I know it is, but it's something that I really haven't talked much on this show, but there's a lot of incest, a lot of rape that goes on with CPS cases.
I understand. It happened to me at 10 and 14. So
yeah, so I don't know if it's just because of the education, and it is because of the education or the lack of parents that don't say ground rules. They should know what their children are doing. It's like they give them phones, and then they go around killing people. 4 people were killed by that one guy in high school. His parents are going to prison for it, but the guys are not back, the 4 people that he shot and killed. So we need to watch our phones. I know the Supreme not the Supreme Court, the Congress had all the CEOs of all the social networks before them and asked them, how are you guys protecting young people from the social media? And I thought, well, wait a minute. I know they're supposed to have mechanisms, but what about the parents? How are you protecting your children? Are you sitting there monitoring your phone? Are you giving a child at sixth grade a telephone that has internet capabilities? So we have a lot of parent responsibilities. And, this girl at 8 had said to her mom that she'd been molested by her grandfather, her dad's father. And then she later talked to me about her dad, and it seems like in that place in Kansas, the whole town knew about it, but they did nothing about it. They did nothing about it. And it does happen. It happens in foster care. When kids are away from their family or in a strange place with strange kids are experimenting, and they will get raped. They get abused sexually. And not only the girls, but the guys too. There are stories of guys being abused sexually by other men and by women. It's not predominantly a woman thing. It's predominantly a man thing, but it's like, where's the education? If kids were told in high school about, rape and it's not right to demand that from a girl when you're out with them. So many dates. There's date rapes. My wife was raped twice. One by a perfect stranger who was trying to help her find her way back to a seat at a live concert. She was only 16 at the time. She went to the bathroom, and her sister, who's the one who reported all the weird things against me, didn't stay to get her back to the seat. She was alone, very naive. And I didn't allow my daughter at 16 to go to a concert by herself. I took her to concerts. Then I was there. I took her when we traveled to other countries at surfing events. There were dances there. I was there dancing with my wife and her nearby with a guy, but I was very careful that guy wasn't getting too frisky. It's like, as parents, we need to really, establish that. And the kids need that. Another thing we touched on was timeouts. Timeouts. So much of us give timeouts, but we don't talk to children after timeout. We don't say, hey, you know why you had the timeout? Do you understand why you had the timeout? Did you talk about it? You need to talk to your children. And so many kids come home, latch kids, and they'll get into things. They'll see on the internet, people doing things and they think it's right, and then when they start having the urges or the feelings, they don't understand them and they do what you may think right. But there's so many girls that I've talked on here that are single moms. They're trying to raise their children because a deadbeat dad leaves them or they divorce them and so forth. And it's a shame because we as men should take responsibilities and we don't seem to. And I certainly did not mean to get on a tangent about this, but I think family values and everything, because CPS is hard enough to deal with the crooks, to deal with the deception, the lack of transparency, lack of knowledge and everything, and then their abuse with the
lack of empathy, a lack of caring.
Right. It is hard. It is so hard, and it's an area that, as I say, I was alone yesterday. I didn't have Danielle on, and so someone called in, and they called in because they didn't have a CPS case. But she was abused in foster care, by the way, and her mother didn't believe her when she told about her dad. And, now she has children herself, and she says, I will not let CPS around my children. She knows, but she was the first one that called in that didn't have a CPS case, that wanted to express her experience growing up in foster care and her experience. But you're also in foster care, Faye, too, right?
Yeah, I grew up in the foster system.
So you know how your abuse went.
Oh, yeah. I'll never forget it.
And that's sad.
Like, I had a lot of abuse. I had a lot of abuse at home. through my mom's boyfriends and, through the domestic violence and the alcohol and drug use. But, never did I ever have to worry about, going into homes of people and being treated like their personal maid, or the foster dad just helping themselves to me at night when the wife would be passed out drunk on the couch.
Oh,
I never had to worry about that at home.
Wow.
And that didn't, it seemed like to me, even though my home life was stressful and, it was hard to deal with, none of that was as hard as dealing with what I went through in foster care.
Yeah, they keep bragging that foster care is so great, that there's an agency that trains foster care parents and stuff like that. But so far, the foster care people are people that can't have children themselves, or too old to have children, that want to have children, that they have alternative motives for it. The fathers in those foster care things, there's a lot of sick parents that don't know how to treat a woman and do not know how to care, and all they want to do is get off. It's stupid. I know that God invented man to constantly have his tongue hanging out, running around chasing women so they can impregnate the world. But times have changed now. We have a big population. We don't need to run around or hang out. We need to think of the right head, your brain in your head. And you need to really respect women. I mean, it goes so far. And I don't mean necessary, but we talked about cotillion, about where when I went to cotillion, I learned how to dance with a girl, how to ask a girl out, how to dance. All those traits seem are lacking now. They still have cotillion at the country clubs and stuff, but there should be a cotillion in high school, where they do scenarios. They used to be in high school where girls and guys would carry pillows in their front shirt to feel like it is to be pregnant. It's not a very fun experience when you have something added weight to your stomach and you have to get in the car and the cereal's in the way, or you have to adjust the seat, or also being pregnant, you have a lot of things you feel, a lot of emotions. And so I really encourage the high schools to think about life skills at high school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like my son had to take religion all 4 years in high school because he went to a private Catholic school. And so I don't understand why they can't take 4 years of life skills and have each year different thing and be exposed. The same thing with marriage. We get married too easy. We don't go to marriage classes. I think it should be required that before a couple gets married, that they attend marriage classes. I don't know how many or what kinds, but something to tell them about CPS, something that tells them about the responsibility of raising children, something that tells them about how to control your anger, because a lot of the incidents with couples is over money or other events, and they have anger problems. And it's sad. It really is sad. I'm getting close to the end of my time right now, but I want to thank Faye and Danielle for taking the time to participate in this podcast. You both are beautiful people. You have your own problems. I know that. And I'm so sorry that Kentucky is so bad there. But
Yeah, me too.
yeah, I love you when you guys come back in the room. You lift me up all the time, you smiling faces. And Danielle, I know it's hard for you sometimes not to be a host, but that's okay. I just like to hear a hand wave that you're okay. I get worried that maybe your boyfriend is jealous of me taking an hour or two a day. So,
no, you don't care. He'll be all right.
I've shown very much respect, and I am a caring, loving father and a man. And so I hope you guys get your children back. I hope someday my 21-year-old will be back. So we'll have to see on that. So I'm going to go ahead and thank you all. I want to thank the girl from Alabama that came on. Yeah, Booze. You've been on before. Thank you very much for coming. I want to thank all the emojis and all the thumbs up and the loves and stuff. That's really appreciated. So, again, thank you both there. So I'm going to go ahead and end the show. Let me see
You're
here.
welcome.
Thanks, y'all. And
Yeah, I have to find the end button. Where is it? Okay, end the stream.